Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. It's really good to be here, and I'm your host, Napasa Pradhan. Folks out there, welcome to Daily Immigration Dose. This is where we discuss about various immigration topics, and I'm always joined by my co-host Sam. But before she joins us, I've got to read out this very important disclaimer to you. And that is by watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. So, folks, with that in mind, welcome once again to Daily Immigration Dose brought to you by Immigration Talk Show. And I'm happy to welcome my co host, Sam. Hi, Sam. How are you doing today?
Hi, Napas. I'm doing great, and I hope this session is going to be again. Lots of information will be there, and I'm sure that today, mostly the Indian immigrants, we are going to talk about there. So it's going to be very informative, and I'm really looking forward to this session.
Me too, me too. It's a very interesting and a timely topic. Everybody's talking about it. Life up after deportation. What challenges do these Indians face who reached India today? So, folks, we will talk about that. But before we head on to the topic of discussion and we dive deeper into it, let me tell you that you can also join this conversation by commenting wherever you're watching us. And yes, we are live on YouTube, but also on Facebook, Instagram, and on X as well, LinkedIn. So please feel free to join us. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us. We are at Immigration Talk Show in YouTube. Check us out and even hit that bell icon so that whenever we have discussions like these, you can be notified and join us immediately. Apart from that, you can also join us on call, by the way, and our contact number is 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. So do join us, and yeah, let's start with the news updates. So, Sam, why don't you start first?
All right. So let me start with my very first news update. And that's also very important, friends. So, firstly, despite US crackdown, donkey route still thrives as Indians seek illegal entry. So this donkey route is very important, and most of the time we have been hearing some different stories about it. So despite intensified deportation under President Trump, illegal migration from India to the US continues with many still risking the dangerous donkey route. A US military aircraft carrying over 200 deported Indian migrants is set to land in Amritsar today. As the US ramps up efforts to remove undocumented individuals. However, there are reports which are suggesting that the demand for illegal passage remains high, particularly in Punjab and Haryana, where aspiring migrants turn to unauthorized travel agents. And the donkey route, also highlighted by the Bollywood film, sees individuals smuggled through South America and Mexico into the US. Other attempt entry via Canada or the perilous sea route through the Bahamas. Despite the dangers, including fatal crossing and a risk of deportation, the lure of the American dream continues to drive thousands towards these high risk journeys. And US Customs and Border Protection data also shows that between October 2020 and August 2024, there were over 175,000 Indians who were illegal and undocumented and has crossed the US Mexico border and also US Canada borders. Moving ahead to next important news that's about that today US deports 104 Indians on military flight. What's going to happen next? So, US military seized 17 aircraft carrying 104 deported Indian nationals, including 25 women, 12 minors, landed in Amritsar today. The deportees, primarily from Gujarat, Haryana, and Punjab, as there were different amount of people from these three states, were returned as part of President Donald Trump's strict immigration deportation rules. This marks the first time the US has used military aircraft to deport the illegal immigrants. And upon arrival, the deportees will be debriefed by Indian authorities to determine their backgrounds and the networks that facilitated their illegal entry into the US. With over 725,000 undocumented Indians in the US and plans to deport at least 18,000 out of them, or even more, India is cooperating to prevent disruptions to legal migration channels. Next news is regarding Trump pauses tariffs, but trade war fears loom over. So if we talk about food and drinks industry, then President Trump has temporarily paused the plan 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports following agreements on tighter border security. So, however, a 10% tariff on Chinese imports has been enforced, prompting retaliation from Beijing, and trade tensions remain high, with Trump also threatening tariffs on European Union as well. And experts also warn that prolonged trade dispute could disrupt supply chains, drive up food price, and also push countries like Canada and Mexico to rethink their reliance on US trade, as this will really increase not only the trade problem but also the relation between these countries. And meanwhile, major companies are already adjusting strategies, with some accelerating shipments or shifting production to US to mitigate the risk. So, friends, these were some of the very important news updates from my end, and there are more. So, Napasa, please go ahead and share some more news updates to our audience.
Absolutely. And what we can see, Trump is really making his mark in every factor and sector, you can say. So, from deportation to trade and tariff, folks out there, yes, this is really happening. And with my news updates, this first up, I have Canada unveils two new permanent residency pathways to attract skilled workers and boost rural growth. So, yes, Canada has launched two new immigration pilot programs: Rural Community Immigration Pilot, which is RCIP, and Francophone Community Immigration Pilot, which is FCIP. So these both are going to address labor shortages and also boost rural development. And apart from that, yes, Immigration Minister Mark Miller has announced that these initiatives aim to bring skilled workers to small towns and strengthen French speaking minority communities outside Quebec. Yes, under RCIP, 18 communities across Canada will become new immigrants. While FCIP will help expand francophone populations. So the programs will be managed by local economic organizations, linking applicants with job opportunities leading to permanent residency. And application details are expected soon, so look out for them, folks. Next news update is also about Canada, and this says, Canada can cancel your visitor visa even if it's approved, and here's why. So, if you didn't know, yes, this is something that can happen. A valid visitor visa can even be cancelled after it's been issued. So, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, that is IRCC, warns that visa may be revoked before travel or at the port of entry if border officers find a reason to deny entry. So, common reasons could be misrepresentation, a criminal record, past immigration violations, and even lack of financial proof. And also, if your reason for travel, that means an unclear travel purpose, could also be another reason. So, yes, this is happening since November 2024. Canada no longer grants automatic 10-year multiple entry visas. So, each case is assessed individually, and immigration experts advise travelers to provide honest information and ensure that they meet all eligibility requirements to avoid last minute visa cancellations. And this next news update I have is over 55% of international students in Canada struggle with housing. And that's what new survey reveals. A new survey by Thomson Rivers University, TRU, highlights the growing challenges international students face in Canada. That's right, over 55% struggle to find housing, while and many, reporting even racial discrimination in the rental market. So, financial struggles are also widespread, with one third of students lacking sufficient funds or feeling, financially uncertain. While reports of on-campus racism have declined a little bit, but students still face discrimination when searching for jobs and even housing. So, with Canada reducing international students' admission by 35% in 2004 and additional 10% in 2005, uncertainty looms for those hoping to stay after post graduation. And also after graduation. So yes, the changing immigration policies coupled with a decline in public support for immigration make the future uncertain for those of foreign students in Canada. So these were a few news updates from my end, and it's really a changing scenario and a tasking one as well. So folks out there, especially here in the US and in Canada, I really hope that you are able to make your way out, and also those who are planning on coming this side very soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Napasa, for letting us know about these very news, I would say very important news updates. So I think let's dive directly into our today's topic of discussion. And that's a very important, friends, that is up about life after deportation. What challenges do these Indians may face? So I think it's very important to understand, like, after deportation, what's going to happen, what their life will be, will it remain same, or what challenges will they actually going to face, not only in terms of monetary funds, but also in terms of their emotional background, how they're going to have relations with their families, what reputations they are going to have. So there are so many things that we are going to discuss in this session, because it's not only about the money that they have spent during their I would say, going to the US or having their US dream, but it's also about the emotions that they have when they build, during, their journey. And now they are being deported back to India and Amritsar. And today only it happened on 5th January 2025 that 104 Indian immigrants have been deported by using the military aircraft under Trump's administration, and they have been deported in Amritsar. And there is the name of the I would say airport, and it is about an airport, Amritsar Airport. They have been deported, and there are certain people from Haryana, Punjab, Chandigarh, and Gujarat as well. So these are the certain peoples from these particular states, and they have been sent back to those states as well. And it's a very tough time for them because they didn't expect this thing to happen this early. And if we look back in the 2024, then obviously there were certain people, there were thousands or more than 1,000 Indian illegal immigrants who have been deported in 2024 under Biden's administration, but they have been using commercial flight and normal flight, and the risk, or the, I would say, the challenges wasn't this much. But during Trump's era, the scenario is completely different, as they have been using military aircraft, and it shows that how strongly, how desperately, Trump is trying to deport these illegal migrants, not only from India, from every sort of country, those who were there in the US and they have been working, or they have not been working, but they have been staying in the US illegally from we don't know how long. So this is what the actual scenario is. And even more, I would say, heartbreaking thing is that, friends, there are so many Indian people who have really spent 30 to 40 lakhs just for the sake that they can have their American dream. They have been giving payment to those illegal agents, to those smugglers, and they have been crossing borders illegally. They have been maybe crossing the rivers, crossing the mountains or the deserts. There are so many things how they have been risking their life, and also they have been spending a lot of money, and now they have been going through the deportation problem. There are certain people from Indians, like there are bus drivers, there are villagers who have been spending 40, 50 lakh. And imagine, for a bus driver, 30 to 40 lakh is too much. It's not peanuts, it's too much, really. And they have been paying this much to smugglers, they have been paying this much to Indian agents. And this is what they are getting in return, and that's nothing. So I think it's a very high time, it's a very difficult time, not only for the Indian illegal immigrants, but for Indian governments as well. Because it's also their responsibility what they have to take, I mean, how they are going to manage those illegal immigrants, because they also have to decide what actions could be taken on those illegal immigrants. They have to check properly their background, their everything, what they have been doing in US, how did they reach there, how much money did they pay, and also the agents from whom they took help, and who are responsible behind their donkey process, so that they can stop this exploitation, and they can stop this donkey process in future. So I think, Nipasa, this is the whole scenario that I just said right now to our viewers, and this is also very sad. This is also very disheartening that we have been coming across with these, situations that's happening right now. So yeah, I think this is the scenario. So please go ahead and add more on it, or say something that our viewers should really know about.
Absolutely, Sam. But I'm so happy to tell you that, we have a caller who has joined us from Dallas right now, and it's Rahul. So, Rahul, welcome to Immigration Talk Show and on Daily Immigration Dose. Um, Good to have you.
Okay, so the two things here. I know you guys are talking about Indian nationals and the whole military airplanes carrying deportees. The first military aircraft departed the U.S. and tried to land in Colombia, right?
Right,
And the Colombian president uh, they have not accepted the aircraft to land in Colombia. They returned the U.S. aircraft back to the U.S., stating, my countrymen or women should be returned with dignity. So what this means, they have a commercial airplane and they go as passengers. But then when they are deportees on an airplane, a military aircraft, they are handcuffed, they are tied like dogs with chains. And even if, there are women, if they have to go to the bathroom, they have to go and use in the presence of the military men. This is what happens in a typical handcuffed, um,
military
where they
aircraft.
are completely, yes, when they are completely contained, this is what happens. Now, a small, tiny country like Colombia, very tiny country, which has no power at all, no economy. It's just, it's just there, probably dependent on tourism and also prostitution. Now, and drugs. But a country like India has agreed, the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, and the Jai Shankar,
Yes.
I'm not sure they were running all over trying to pick people from when there was a war in Kuwait. They ran 200 flights to bring Indian nationals, and there is no dignity for Indian nationals. So we've had, you just said 107 plus 20 women or whatever. I don't have the numbers. So I'm sure the 24 hours has been a nightmare. Obviously, the airplane did not fly straight into Amritsar. Probably it had, I have no idea, but I'm sure it had one or two stops for refueling. And so this is what it is. So in other words, in this case, Indian government has no value and does not respect or give any dignity. Now, what happens after they have landed? There is a further process by the Indian government. It is more harassment. They will be locally arrested. They're not going home. Right after the land in Amritsar, they're not going home. So they'll probably be again kept in detention, asking several questions for more harassment. Maybe it'll take days, and if they can't prove, because they're coming on an emergency, most of them are coming with an emergency certificate from the Indian consulates.
Right.
They further have to prove that they are Indians. It does
Right.
not really happen by speaking language and by the appearance. Indian government may assume they're from Pakistan or Bangladesh, other countries, Indonesia. So this is what I think you guys should talk about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahul. And it's so true, actually. And imagine the more harassment. Imagine the more harassment. Thank you so much, Rahul, once again from Dallas for joining us. So, like, people who have landed today, they are going to be, as Rahul has also mentioned, and it's all there in the news as well, that they're going to be uh, going through more question round, and they have to prove, or how did they end up in America, who was the person who helped them, or the agents, the travel agents, as Sam, you have been speaking earlier about the donkey route. How had they landed in America first? They'll have to give all that proof that they are Indians, and only then probably they are going home. So imagine the whole scenario out there. It's very intense for each and every deportees who have landed today, and this is the first batch for folks out there. There are more following.
I think, Napasa, I would also like to say something on Rahul's information. So, first of all, thank you so much, Rahul, for being here. And it was really, I really felt so glad that you shared this very important information with us and with our viewers as well. So, as you mentioned about Colombia and about Indian immigrants, everything. So, talking about Colombians, I think it is already understandable that yes, Colombians, they are not accepting those deported immigrants, right? Because they are having, maybe they are not sure, or maybe they are not accepting those. So we should also look upon the other side, that what about those deported immigrants? Where are they going to be? They are stateless right now. They don't have any nationality. They don't have any name that has been tagged on their citizenship. So it's a very sad thing for them. And second of all, for the Indians, for the Indian immigrants, uh, according to my knowledge, according to my information, I got to know that they have been deported safely to their places, especially Chandigarh, Haryana. The state government, they have been booked the special buses for them, for those illegal Indian immigrants, after obviously having a proper interrogation with them. And after that, if they are if they didn't do any crime, or if their background is clean, so they have been sending back by special buses with police security as well, to Haryana, Chandigarh, Gujarat, or whatsoever those places are. And for different places, they have been flown away. So it's like, this is also the thing, that if their criminal backgrounds, if they are not having any criminal background, that they might lead a better life, not a very good life, but a normal life in India. And those who have been detained due to criminal background, or maybe they did something very illegal, or I would say not completely acceptable towards society, then of course they might have to put behind the bars. And I think that's what, fair enough, that's how the system works, and that's how it should be, because they are illegal Indian immigrants. And I think we should feel little relief out of it, that at least these people, these Indian immigrants, are being accepted by the Indian government. Because what happened if the same condition would be applied to, I mean, how Colombian government are taking steps, what if same the Indian government would have taken steps? So the situation would have become devastated, and nobody have been, where they would have gone? Nothing. So it's like, it's not everything, but at least they are having something. At least they are having a citizenship. They are still having a place to stay. I mean, a home to live, right? So I think this is what the problem and the solution can be. So yeah,
I
I
don't
think.
know how fair it is, but of course, like, it's not so great as well, right, Sam? I imagine, being deported in handcuffs. Where's the dignity? I'm sure, while they were in India or in America, they were working all the while with dignity. Of course, I mean, how they came into America is another question altogether. And now that they have to prove, I mean, imagine the whole, questions they have to answer, and also the examinations that they have to go through, because it also, this whole process, from what I hear, also included medical examinations and background checks before arranging transportation to their respective states. So yes, of course, initial questioning is there, rigorous. It's not just what is your name, where are you from, how did. I'm sure it's a lot more than just that, and thorough verification every step. they took,
Yeah.
how they ended up there is questioned, is, recorded. So verification of the deportees with documents and credentials, that's there, and even medical examinations. So yes, it's crazy, and the screening process is actually meant to ensure that only those who are indeed illegally present are deported. So um, but then, this whole procedure also makes it very uncertain in a way. There's stress experienced a lot, by all these migrants. So they're examining how these verification steps are conducted, and what kind of documentation or lack of documentation also could affect each individual's each of the cases, because every case is different, like we all know. And potentially, who knows, this could also lead to long term complications. Imagine that for those who are deported. So, if only it is as easy or as clear, then maybe. But then each step is questioned, Sam, and I don't know what are they going through right now.
Absolutely. But also on Napasa, as you and Rahul mentioned about the dignity, right? So, absolutely, it's a very important part, that dignity. Where did that come from? And especially when it comes to Indians, because Indian families are very much, they are full of pride. They don't want any negative reputation in front of society, and that's a very important thing. But, when it comes to the handcuffs and when it comes to ill treatment, then ultimately, they have been targeted as the illegal Indian immigrants.
They could also be like victims of fraud themselves. There were agents who probably took a hell lot of money from them. And when they got to America, they see that there's actually no job for them. It was all lies. And they somehow landed up there, and they had to, pull up their socks, find a little living for them so that they could make it through. Probably some of them couldn't even tell their family back home what were they going through.
That's right. And I think that's how, any government, it's not only about US, I think any government should take, I won't say that they have to be cruel towards the illegal immigrants, but at least they have to be strict enough so that nobody can try to cross the border. Because it's very tough, it's very hard, because we are sitting here, we are having a discussion on how the process should be, how the system should be. But we should also understand that it's not possible to manage those 14 million illegal immigrants in US, and that too being the largest economy in the whole globe. So it's a lots of responsibility for them, and it's not possible for Trump's administration, to select each and every illegal immigrants, and treat them better, not better, but at least treat them normal, because somehow they are illegal. That's why they are termed as illegal immigrants, right? So they have been putting up with handcuffs. They don't, I mean, they won't be treating very respectfully. They have to go through that procedure because that's how they did, right? If they have crossed the border, then that doesn't mean that they have been getting the good treatment, or they have been serving good foods. I mean, that's how the treatment should be. And right now, I hope that as they have been deported to India, Amritsar, I think at 1:55 p.m. So everything, interrogations are being happening, and the process is taking place. So hopefully, Indian government is going to take the right decision, and those illegal immigrants should have at least, not a very, I would say, a charming life or a very good life, but at least a life that has nothing to do with their past, because this time is very much, I would say, disheartening for them. And it's also lots of, they might be feeling kind of shame, they might be feeling not good in front of the society, in front of the people, or maybe their families and friends. But stay strong and choose a legal path, and that is how you should be. So yeah, I think that's all, yeah.
Yes, playing safe is all that matters, and I'm sure that there'll be more news coming up on this matter as well. So stay with us, friends. And also, big shout out to Rahul. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do not forget to hit that bell icon, subscribe to our channel. We are Immigration Talk Show. Our handle is Immigration Talk Show in YouTube, and we are also there in Instagram, in LinkedIn, Facebook, and also on X. So check us out. Don't forget to subscribe to us, connect with us.
Oh,
And folks, you can also join us. All you have to do is call this number 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988888. It'll be really nice to have you join us on conversation as well. And otherwise, you can keep commenting. And yes, I think we should quickly take up Jadav's comment. He had posted, "Hi Jadav, thank you for joining us." So Jadav says, according to Dana law, the United States generally issues a period of inadmissibility to those who are deported. That's right. In many cases, the ban can last for 10 years, though there are circumstances where it is shorter or even permanent, depending on the case, I'm sure. Jadav, thank you so much for this information, and I wish you could also join us. But great inputs for the discussion program, I would say. And it's true. I mean, once you have found that you had joined, entered the United States illegally, then you have committed a crime somehow, and they are going to put you on the list. Depending on what you did after coming to the United States as well. So I really hope that you were living ethically, at least. Depending on every case, since everybody has a different life and they do different things. So I'm sure every case is different. Every individual is going to be assessed, and yes, you're right. The ban can last 10 years or more and even permanent in some cases.
right. And that's so sad. Imagine that people they have been dreaming so hard for American dream, and now they have been coming up with that. They have been banned for 10 more years.
Yeah. You know what? I just want to say, if you become victims of fraudulent activities, fraud agents, nowadays you have the power in your hands. I mean, social media is also a powerful tool, but even apart from that, you can, report all these criminal activities that are going on. And I know sometimes it's very hard to catch them because once they get the money, they probably run away and they're nowhere to be found. But I really hope that you find a better path for your future instead of just feeding money, to people who do not deserve that. Try to find out, do more research, and check out which are the proper paths and not these frauds. So
Absolutely.
yes, and if as such, do post them right, left, and center on social media so that everybody out there would know about these people or these firms, agents, whatever you call them.
That's right. I think let's move ahead with the next comment, and let's take Arjun's comment. So Arjun is saying that deportation can be a altering experience, especially for those who have spent a significant amount of time abroad. Indians deported from US face countless of challenges, emotional and psychological impact. The sudden uprooting from a familiar environment can lead to a feeling of isolation, depression, and anxiety. And he also mentioned more about economic hardships. Okay, economic hardships as well. And many deportees struggle to find employment in India as their skills and qualifications may not be recognized or valued. All right. Deportation often results in the separation of families, with some members remaining in US while others are sent back to India. I think this is really heartbreaking and this is so major that you are going to get separate from your family, maybe your children, maybe your wife, or maybe your mother and father. So this can cause emotional distress and strain on family relationships. I think Arjun, absolutely all the challenges that you have mentioned about those illegal Indian immigrants that they might face or they can face in this year, I think that's properly very well explained, and that's how we are also trying to explain our viewers, explain our Indian friends that. Maybe these things can happen with them as well, and we know that how much psychologically they are being affected, how much emotionally they are being stressed, and it's just a time that nobody can help each other. It's just that they have to take the right step right now by being more systematic, by being more ethical. So we can just share the information, we can just let you guide, we can just give you the expert advice. So that's all we can do from our end. But friends, you make sure that you don't mislead yourself or don't fall into any other traps, especially to traffickers or smugglers, right?
Right. So I think, Sam, it's time for a short break now. And folks out there, stay with us because we are going to read your comments. Hi, Roshni. Thank you for joining us. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this short break on Immigration Talk Show. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Immigration Talk Show. This is Daily Immigration Dose. I'm Napasa, and this is my co host, Sam. So, really lovely to have all of you folks here today. And so nice that, even Rahul joined us all the way from Dallas on this conversation. And we have been reading comments. Hi to folks out there. You can also join us. All you have to do is call us on this number by dialing 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. So, yes, and today's topic of discussion is also very interesting and a timely one: life after deportation. What challenges do these Indians face? So, folks out there, if you know any of, these people or their families, why don't you also tell us, maybe comment, just let us know.
So I think let's take Roshni's comment. Napasa, please go ahead.
All right, so Roshni has commented saying, expressing disappointment over the deportation, Punjab's NRI Affairs Minister Kuldeep Singh Dhaliwal said that these individuals had contributed to the US economy and should have been granted permanent residency instead of being sent back. He noted that many of them had initially entered the US on work permits, which later expired, making them undocumented immigrants. They overstayed. Basically, their visas expired and they overstayed. They did not care to renew them, and they are suffering right now. So, Roshni, thank you so much for commenting and also telling us the view of NRI Affairs Minister. Yes, Punjab's NRI Affairs Minister, Kuldeep Singh Dhaliwal. It's true, but I wish they were more careful. They are facing the consequences. I just wish they could renew on time or could change their visa status, shift to another status that would be, uh, you know, they should have been on status basically. They overstayed, and it has a cost. It has, and this is the price they are paying right now. I just wish it was a different scenario for them. But yes, many of them did so, and that is what has happened. So, folks out there, especially who are immigrants here in America, please make sure that, before your visa status expires, or if you plan on staying longer, just make sure that your documents are up to date. They are still on status so that, you don't have to pay your fines, whether it's via money or getting deported. I just hope that you don't have to face any such scenarios ever.
That's right. And I think it's not only, I would say, Punjab's NRI Affair Minister, Kuldeep Singh, but it's also, I think, Indian government, some are taking steps, like the families of the people who were sent back from the US. They are facing a lot of sadness and money problems. So I think the Punjab government, yeah, Kuldeep Singh Dhaliwal, sorry, the same one, States NRI Affair, they are also trying to talk to banks, to reduce the interest of the loans that has been taken by these deported people, maybe while giving their donkey route. So I think he's also trying to be a little softened to these deportation process, and he's trying to be a little lenient for these immigrants so that they can help them out, and at least by this they can lead a right path, they can have a better life, and they can live, I would say, how a legal immigrant should be. So, yeah, I think these are certain helps towards the Indian immigrants that we can see towards Indian governments that we have been seeing towards Indian immigrants. So it's a good sign. It's a pretty helpful sign, and we should feel definitely grateful that we have such people around us who are accepting us, who are, not denying us, not denying our status, but they are accepting us. So I think this is a good sign, and this is a pretty helpful sign. What do you think, Nipas? I mean, I think it's fine, right? If they're accepting it and if they're trying to help them.
Yes, trying to help them, but how far are they going to be able to help them? That's another thing because it's only the first few steps, and I don't know how fair is it also because I mean loans are there are many people who take loans and many people face a lot of paying loans. I'm sure, like, there are more people who have been trying harder by studying harder. They're not finding jobs even after their studies. They're not being able to pay back their education loans or many other things. There's so many scenarios. I don't know how fair is it to all of them. But what's sad is that they could have played safer. You know, they have been contributing to the U.S. economy by paying taxes when they were in the U.S. And they should have definitely been granted permanent residency. But before that, they should have. I mean, the immigrants should have also made sure that they were on status, right? I mean, it's not like they didn't know that they have been overstaying. And even after they knew, they didn't try to take any proper action on that. So, like, they say every action has an equal and opposite reaction. I think this is what is happening.
That's so true. All right, so I think we have been taking a lot of comments from Jadhav, from Arjun, and from Roshni as well. So thank you so much, friends, for being here and putting up these very important pointers. I think these were really great, as Jadhav said about diner law. Then also Arjun come up with the different challenges that what Indian immigrants might face, and Roshni come up with another very important about how Punjab's NRI Affair Minister Kuldeep Singh is saying about these immigrants. So thank you so much, everyone, for letting us know and for adding more into this conversation, as these were really needed and very important. And friends, you can also put up as many comments as possible, because it's very important, to know each and every different perspective regarding today's session. I mean, regarding today's topic. So please go ahead and put up your opinions, your information, whatsoever you feel like, and we'll be more than happy to take them in this episode. All right. So I think, Napasa, yeah, we already talked about certain situations, what's happening right now, and how also they are going to face challenges, in the upcoming year. So I think firstly, there's another challenge that I would like to mention about, and that's about limited job prospects. Because even though they might have been living in US, maybe they are skilled, not regarding. Maybe not very skilled about the IT sector, but if we take the example of agriculture, then they have been learning so many different skills in US, right? Because it's a very developed country. So any immigrant living there, I mean, they may have more knowledge, they may have more skills as compared to the people who are living in India. So, but still, there's a challenge that they may not get a good jobs in India because of their status, because of their deportation, because, and that plays a major role because there's a question mark in your I would say, status and your citizenship, because you have been deported, and that's not a good sign. That's a very, I would say, a bad sign, because everybody will start question on your citizenship, or everybody will start question about how and why did you get deported? Did you do some criminal activity, or were you involved in some illegal activity, or whatsoever? People will think it in a very negative way, right? So they might have to face a lot of challenge regarding their job as well, and they might not get a very good job, or they might not get a very, the job that they really wanted to work in. So I think this is one challenge that they might be facing in this time. And Napasa, what do you think, what can be the other challenges that they might face?
Well, another thing is probably the absence of family. There was nobody really to receive them in the airports. You know what I mean? So it's been emotional, and it has had its social impact as well. No families were present at the Amritsar's airport, to greet the deportees.
Yeah.
I mean, for many of them, the return to India is not just a logistical challenge, but it's a very deep emotional experience as well, and the separation from loved ones can really intensify, the trauma of deportation. So imagine those who have really spent so many years in the United States, living in the US, building their lives and careers, and imagine the scene right now. They had to leave all of them, just come back here. There's nobody here to even greet them at the airport, and well, the interrogation round is even longer. They have to prove so much, so many things, and it's just been very, very challenging. And like you've said, the future also, it's going to be challenging. Yes, not having a job which probably they deserve, or everything they do is probably going to be questioned. Who knows?
Absolutely, I think that's what, and that's very important. So um, I think Napasa, are you there? Or I think maybe we lost her. But that's okay, friends. I think Napasa will come back just after a minute. So I think, yeah, that's very important. And there are certain challenges, there are certain criteria also that, the illegal immigrants, especially the Indian immigrants, they might face. So I think for that, friends, let's take a break for a minute, and let's take a break. And so don't go anywhere. We'll be coming right back. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Immigration Talk Show. I'm your host, Sam, and you're watching Daily Immigration Dose. That is streaming live at 4 p.m. EST from Monday to Friday. I hope you guys have liked, shared, and subscribed to our channel, and make sure to stay updated with our daily immigration news as well as we upload it daily so that our friends related to global politics and immigration scenarios should be aware of. All right, friends. So today we have been talking about a very important topic, and that's life after deportation. What challenges do these Indians face? So it's a very hot topic. It's a very important topic. There have been different opinions. There have been different perspectives, and today we got to know a lot about it. What challenges they might face, not only related to the economic condition, but also psychologically, emotionally. Family separations will be there. How much difficult the scenario would be, especially regarding their reputation as well. What the future will be, whether they'll be getting jobs or not, whether they'll be uh, able to lead a normal life or not. So this is a very tough time for them, and this is a very high time for them. But this was something that we all were expecting because Trump's administration has been very much vocal about it and have already been said that they are not going to tolerate any illegal immigrant in US, especially regarding, anyone, not specifically from India, but from anywhere. And the saddest part is that there are different countries who are not accepting those deported illegal immigrants, but Indian government is accepting them. So we need to see how systematically it works. We need to see what steps do Indian governments are going to take. And for that, it's really going to be hard for the illegal Indian immigrants who have been deported today in Amritsar, from especially from the C-17 aircraft. And this is for the very first time that U.S. immigration system has been, modified and deported the illegal immigrants by using the military aircraft, so that they can show that they can share the message that they are not going to tolerate any illegal immigrant from now on. So there are certain things, and
Hi,
with
hi
that,
Sam.
hi Rajni, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. You guys were having great conversation, and I think what you're talking about is so timely and so important. And I mean, there's a lot of discussion about. I think one of the caller also said, I think Rahul was his name, and he also said. About the dignity of the Indian nationals, right? And initially, Colombia, I think they refused to accept the deportation flights from United States. I think it was the concerns over the use of, I think, U.S. military aircraft for these operations, right? Because
Mhm.
they were using these U.S. military aircraft for the deportees to be being sent back to their country, and of course the treatment of the deportees, right? Because they were also talking about how they are being treated and about the dignity. But I think what I feel is, if you're so much concerned, if I talk about India, they are accepting it, you know
Mhm.
regardless of the fact, how they are being treated. So what I feel is, if you're so much concerned about the dignity of the people, then why are you not concerned about them? Because it is the life and the future of the people which is at risk. I mean, if they are termed as illegal, and if they are, people are calling them illegal, if the government, the country's government is itself calling them illegal, so you should be responsible enough to take them back. Because if they are your citizens, and if you're saying that they are being treated like this, and they are their dignity is at risk, and so many things basically, so then you are concerned about their dignity but not about them. How will this work, right?
Right.
Okay, the country can treat, it's up to that country, and it's up to their, I mean, whatever that they decide to do, because ultimately they have called them illegal. But why, when they are taking them, when the country is taking them back, at least the country should not treat them with disrespect, right? When they are taking them back, I think you also mentioned that what India is doing, that they are interrogating, and if they have done crimes, they're putting them behind the bars. And if they are not criminals, and if they are not under anything that is crime related, then they are, with all respect, they are taking them back to their homes, right?
Mhm.
So I think this is how it should be. And if one country is calling you illegal, I mean, I know, some of some of the migrants must also be must have also been frauded by by a lot of scams, and they have gone under a lot of scams, and a lot of things must have also happened. But
Mhm.
then Trump has always said that whenever he's going to take office, the first thing that he's going to do is deport the illegals, right? He has said it on the first day itself. As soon as he started his campaign, the first thing that he said was this. So when you got to know that you are not here legally, and you are under this fraud, and people were scamming you, people were doing things to you or whatever. I mean, you are not having the right kind of papers. You should have chosen the right path. You should have chosen the legal path, right?
Mhm. Right.
So this is what I feel, and honestly, I think there's one question which actually attracted me to this conversation was, I think ZQ said, I mean, there was a news about 205 people being sent back. So what happened to the rest? What happened to the rest 101 out of 205? So ZQ, I think initially it was reported that 205 Indian nationals. I mean, even I was concerned about it when I read the news, because last report that we read, or last news that we heard, was that there were 205 Indian nationals who were
Mhm.
sent back from Texas to Amritsar, but only actually 104 arrived. So I think, I mean, the reason behind this haven't been officially confirmed as yet, but I think it's possible that some individuals were removed from flight before departure, maybe due to legal issues, or maybe health concerns, or maybe other administrative reasons. I mean, but still, I'm just speculating. It's all speculative, because it's still not out in the news. But maybe this might be the case, but we don't know for sure.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah,
Maybe they were not Indians also.
yeah, maybe. Or
Okay.
maybe the high Indian government is investigating they are also investigating them, right?
That may happen. I think Napasa, you have also joined us through call, and
I mean, I've been here only. It's just my camera somehow. I really do not know what is the issue, but I'm here. I've been here. Didn't leave.
that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes it happens, but I think our viewers are really eager to have Rajni and Napasa also on video call. But I'm sure we are going to have tomorrow together, and we three will be there. So friends, don't forget to join us, and we'll come up with another a very important and a very timely topic. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. And today we really had a great discussion with Rajni and Napasa also about this topic. And I think before wrapping up, I would also like to take notes or concern from Rajni and Napasa that do you guys have to say anything, or do you guys have to add on it, or should we like wrap up?
I think from my side, I think this is it. What I mean, people are really having this conversation about the dignity also, but then the government has to accept. I mean, because if you're not accepting, you're so much worried about the dignity of your people, and but you're not worried about their future and their life, and you're not
Mhm.
accepting them, and you're making them stateless. If you're not going to accept them and they are being deported, where are they going to go? So you, more than the dignity of the person, you can still take care of the person once the person, or once those people are back home. You can still take care of them. You can make them feel at home. You can make them feel respected, even after whatever. You can, like, uh, I mean, plan things out. You can take them to psychological doctors, or mental health specialists, so that it doesn't affect their mental health, right? With whatever that they are going through, you can take all
Yes.
necessary steps to take care of your people. But for that, you have to accept them. You
Yeah.
have to bring them back, right? So this is what I feel about, because you guys were having this conversation, so I thought to give my 2 cents and 2 bits. So this is what I feel about this.
Thank you
That's
so much, Rajni. It's true, the trauma and stress that each one of them is going through. And, even emotionally and socially, it's very challenging to be separated from their friends and family, their loved ones, basically. And then being deported entirely. Their lives have completely come to a total halt. And it's like a sudden blank page now, or a black page, from what we hear, and how are they going to turn this into a brighter future for themselves. So it's going to be very challenging each step. And I'm sure, folks, that, we are going to have more news every day on this as well. And I really hope to get to know that they are safer, and probably that they have reached home safely. We're looking forward for better news. So stay with us, friends. Yes, we are Immigration Talk Show. Don't forget to subscribe to us, hit that bell icon, check us out in every platform, in all socials. We are there: YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Instagram, you name it. Just check us out. We are at Immigration Talk Show.
Absolutely. I think thank you so much, Rajni and Napasa, for letting us know about these very important information and for concluding as well this session. And friends, lastly, I would also like to say that that's okay, whatsoever happened, let past be gone and it's never going to come back. But make sure that from now on, you have a good life, you have a right path, especially regarding the immigration system, because you can still consult with attorneys, you can still have a legal guidance, you can still have expert guide, and make sure that now at least you're on a right track. You have a correct information regarding your immigration process and immigration policies. So go check out uscis.gov website. Make sure that you are completely aware of it, about it, and also just keep yourself updated regarding each and every news that's happening in Trump's administration, because these are the situations that's happening because of people carelessness. They are not being very much updated with the news. They are not being very much informed about it, and of course they are not being in touch with attorney. So this is a, I would say, a high time, a very important time. Don't try to, take things lightly. Be very vigilant, be very careful, be very much concerned about your system, about your politics, about your immigration things, everything that's happening in India, that's happening in US. So that's all for today's update, and that's all for today's information, friends. I hope you liked our today's session and that have been insightful and that have been helpful. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. We'll be coming back tomorrow again with another very insightful and very lively discussion. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, stay connected, and we'll be coming back tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone, for today's episode. I'm Sam signing off for now. Goodbye and take care, everyone.